Hello everyone, I'm your host Caitlin Daniel, creator of Sci-Fi Leadership, and if you're new here, welcome. I specialize in empowering leaders as they navigate how to best support mental health and well-being in our schools. Today's episode is going to be a reflection of the end of the 2023-2024 academic year. Let's get started. If this was a rough year for you, you're not alone. The last couple years for me have had a lot of ups and downs. I quit teaching about 2 years ago due to my mental health and overall well-being was really low, and I was suffering from chronic stress, fatigue, anxiousness, and just a lot of things that were coming up all at once. So when I stepped away from the classroom, I thought that taking some time to myself to kind of reset, get my bearings, and start off my new journey in the education space would be great, and would be excellent. Would be great in that I would be fine and all of that. Well, it turns out over the last 3 years, it had many ups and downs. But I will say that in that time period, I've gained a lot more self-awareness for around how I'm doing and how I'm feeling, and around how others are feeling as well. I feel like I'm a lot more perceptive to how best to support others, and at recognizing when others need support in my life. So with that being said, I wanted to give some reflection on how I'm kind of sitting now that it's been 3 years since I've been in the classroom, and where I'm at. In the first few months of the academic year, it really felt like I was just going through the motions of being at work, being a doctoral student, and just doing things without really thinking about what I was doing. And having that feeling that I just wasn't present in my work or in my classes was a little hard for me. I've gone through periods of time where that has been the case in terms of work, but it's never really lasts very long, and this time it lasted for several months. I didn't feel like myself, and I've gone through periods of time around, especially when I was a few years ago, but right before I left the classroom, kind of having those same experiences as well, that I didn't feel like I was quite myself, and I don't like to feel that way anymore now that I've taken time away from work, and have changed how I think about work in terms of how I approach it, what I'm doing, what my time commitments are, what my boundaries are. I just have a lot less tolerance for doing things where I don't really feel genuinely like myself. But I will say that when I've gotten like that, I have made sure to prioritize my connection with others. I'm very close with my family, and so I feel like I reach out and strengthen those connections over the last few years with the people that I love the most, because they help me feel grounded, and they help me feel at home, and they help me feel like me. Another thing that I've done the last few years is fallen back in love with reading. I grew up reading all of the time. I was a voracious reader. I love to learn. I still love to learn. I love all those things. But when my mental health was doing really poorly, especially while I was teaching in the classroom, I wasn't reading for fun anymore. I wasn't watching things for fun anymore, or listening to anything for fun other than some music on my commute on the way home. So I felt like I just, lost part of myself there for those few years. And so the last few years I've been really intentional at trying to cultivate my love for those things again, and it just brings me so much joy. And when I do those things, it just helps me feel more connected to myself, and I feel more like myself again. So this year's been quite a journey. Again, getting back into reading, making sure that I read for fun. That way it continues to be something that I love to do and that benefits me. Another thing that I wasn't doing at the beginning of this academic year, and it took a while to get back into it, was being consistent around exercise and eating well. And I will say that the last couple months I've been kind of getting back into that routine, and what I'm really looking forward to now that we're going into summer and it's the end of the academic year and my workload's a little lighter, is to focus on not only creating content for this amazing YouTube channel and all of you, but reconnecting with myself through exercise and focusing on my nutrition and trying to get back into that kind of a balance of doing that as well, because exercise is something that brings me a lot of joy, and I've really gotten into it over the last few years, and it helps keep me grounded, and it puts me in a better mood, especially when I'm stressed and anxious. Once I exercise, you know, the rest of my day is pretty manageable. And I find that if I don't do those things, I tend to have kind of a bad day. So exercise is really, really up there for me in terms of a priority. And lastly, I'm just looking forward to continue, you know, working on myself, doing things that make me happy. That way I can become the best version of myself. And there's so many things I want to accomplish in the next academic year, and I'm really using this summer to hype myself up for that. And I hope you are too. I hope your summer is a time of peace, joy, relaxation, and refinding yourself. Make sure to focus on your own mental health and well-being, because if you're not taking care of yourself, it's going to be really hard to take care of others. And as a school leader, I know you're in quite a unique and vital position of taking care and supporting others through your leadership. All right, if you'd like to see more educational mental health content for school leadership, please subscribe to join this amazing community here on YouTube. We'll have videos releasing every Tuesday. Until next time, have a great end to your academic year, and take care.